Gator, first win of the season. Can you walk us a little bit through that experience? Because for us, it felt like a stomp for the most part. Was that what you're looking for?
Uh, yeah, we were definitely looking for a stomp. We had like they had like a rough first week, obviously. Felt like we kind of just didn't play like ourselves. Obviously you don't want to make excuses, but I think going in like the second week, we kind of just like really like sacked up and was just like, you know, um, we're better than that. So we've been practicing really hard this past week. So I think it showed we were working on uh like a few weeks ago. It felt like most every team was just playing like that brawl stuff. So you show up to scrims and you just brawl it out. So then what happens is the teams that are not that great at brawl, they start looking to other things. So it felt like we didn't quite like get the practice against some of that stuff, and we didn't think it would be as big of an issue as it was or as strong as it was. So I think it kind of caught us off guard. But today I felt like we were just prepared completely. So
Right. No, yeah, we know like from the interview that we did with Sefi in the preseason that you guys are built around like this hard working environment where everyone pulls their weight and puts on an incredible amount of hours. Was the first week sort of like harmful towards the momentum there and the atmosphere? Was it hard to pull back, or were you immediately back on the horse?
um, I we definitely it took like I would just say we had like a day off, right? So you take that day off and it's just like everyone just goes for a full mental reset. And like you just kind of have to like realize, it's just time to get back to work, I guess. Like it's nothing's given for free. So we just kind of knew like that we had some work to do this upcoming week and we put in a lot of time and we talked a lot. We did a lot of like reviewing and VOD reviewing, going over different comps. So I think that just like just prepared us better, I guess you could say.
Right. Now, you had a couple of interesting plays in there or choices. We heard also that Pelican had a break. We didn't see it yet to that extent. So can you walk us through that idea, why that is a thing for you guys, and how that came up?
So I mean, at the end of the day, like I think most people like I know like Glads and Shock and like multiple other teams, they like putting like double flex support in the brig, right? Because kind of at the end of the day, like it's actually like it really is actually a really skillful hero, especially in that kind of a comp. Like you do have an insane impact and it actually is actually really mechanically challenging, like surprisingly. You're not hitting the shots, but like missing like a flail or a bash is like, it could be fight losing. So like having like a DPS on it is just like, I mean, he played it for what, like a good 2 years probably. So I mean, he just has insane like time on it and insane mechanics. So it was just like a why not? Might as well if you have them there, we might as well put them on it, I guess. Same as like any other team that most other teams that like have that luxury, I guess.
Right. And then you guys, I think especially on Iconwald, you play pretty aggressively. Every once in a while that bites you, with like for instance Pelican being picked on the first on May, or
Yeah,
like I suppose like the back shatter and whatnot. But is this
yeah,
aggressive play style generally what you're going for, or is this just a meta decision at the moment?
yeah. It depends. Um, I do think it's more of a meta decision. I think like we actually have no problem like we'll even say it like just like AFKing, like doing like playing slower, like we have no problem trying to outplay or like change our tempo and stuff, but we do obviously favor like aggressive playstyle, especially in Lucio comp. Like we have an insane Lucio player, might as well run it down mid with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it just like favors our playstyle. So if we can do that, we might as well, I guess you could say. You know?
Right. Now, of course, a lot of it is also different, I suppose, from the previous season. Previous season, you had 12 players. Now you're down to 7. How does that feel for you?
Um, it feels a lot honestly, it feels a lot better in a sense. Like I love having all the guys. It was like it was a lot of fun having more players, more like ideas, more thoughts, more opinions. That was always great. But like when you trim it down, it does kind of give more of like a like this is it kind of feel, you know? Like everyone just has to do their job. Everyone has to show up. Everyone has to grind. Everyone has to play their role, and they need to be the best at every hero on their role. So it puts a lot more pressure, but it's also like good in the sense that it's just like everyone's held accountable at all times. There's no guy coming in to play if you don't feel like playing today in scrims. You can't just show up and be like, I don't want to play today, or I'm bored, or I don't want to play this hero. So like it's just like I like it better. I think it's like a good recipe. Like as long as everybody has their role, I think it's good. I know like some people have. I think we're at 7 players. I know some teams are like 8 or 9, but like even then, like most everyone feel like they have a role. So I like it better.
I think also for you, it's a challenge because yes, there are a lot of main tanks that have to do it like you, where they need to flex on every pick, but some at least have some backup there.
Yeah.
How is your preparation towards the season, and how do you feel on your different picks now at this point?
Um. I feel really comfortable. I know like in North America and like generally the Western for like what 6 7 months everyone here was playing Rush. And then like in like other region they were playing like double bubble. So felt like we were kind of a little bit ahead in a sense that like most of our players were practicing a brawl variant, a lot in the off season. That's where generally your practice comes from. And then obviously the other region, the opposite. So I think we are just focused on focused on playing to our strengths, but then like working on what we've like almost like been robbed of in like practice in the off season.
Right now, one thing that always seems a little bit reductive from the community, but then again, the information available sort of leads to it. When you guys don't do well, despite having a perceived very stacked roster, it always seems to go to the coaches that there's a lag in the coaching staff. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts around that type of line of arguing?
Um, I don't like blaming anyone, and like you could always like point the finger, but like at the end of the day, especially in a smaller roster, like everyone generally has a say. Uh, I'm just not like a fan of the whole pointing the finger. I think we get like a lot of. It feels like we do kind of get a lot of flack. We got like, I guess you could say we almost have like a lot of haters, which that's cool with me. Like I guess we're doing something right. I don't know. Like a lot of people are hating on us, no problem. But um, like I think we just kind of like turned an eye to it. Like people just like really truly do not know what's going on. You know, like this season just started, but like last season you could like there was a ton of things people would just comment on and they just had absolutely no idea what was going on. And it could be the same for this season. I don't like making excuses, so I'm not going to, but like we had a bad first week, whatever, at the end of the day. But like I feel like we've taken the challenge, like accepted that, we just gotta, like focus up and just really put in a lot of effort.
And a big challenge is coming up. Of course, with this 3-0, you have extended yourself a lifeline to make it out by your own powers. Technically speaking, if you were to clean sweep the shock, I think the qualification is, I think, mathematically guaranteed.
Yeah,
So,
it does.
how are you picking up that challenge of clean sweeping the
Um,
San Francisco Shock?
I'm excited for the challenge. I still view them as like the best team because at the end of the day, I mean, they have won 2 seasons in a row now, and I do feel like they're one of the only teams that is almost truly meta-proof, in my opinion. So I do feel like there'll be a challenge, but I think we can 100% do it, like very, very, very easily, especially considering the map pool in the match. Uh, it's definitely going to be a slugfest for sure. So I guess we'll just see. You know, I'm not going to underestimate them. I'm sure they won't do the same to us. They're kind of in almost the same situation. Like they can't. I don't think they can really afford to lose 3-0 at the same time. So it's going to be like both teams, I guess, backed up to a wall. So we'll see.
Would you have preferred to play the Shock first and maybe before the Outlaws? Because now, I mean, the Shock is known for having that second gear when it gets close, right? Do you expect like a second gear as well this weekend?
I expect them to think they have a second gear, but they lose a couple map or two, and then they're gonna be like, damn, like something's going on. So I'm not really too worried about it. I mean, they're like an insane team, so I'm not gonna chirp too much about them, but I don't think it's gonna be. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a really close match. It's gonna be a sweaty match. With map score, regardless, I think the maps will be very close, regardless of score. So it should be a fun match. And we'll be prepared.
Now, is the Atlanta brain back to what we heard you guys were capable of in Scrimbox, basically? If you guys were to make it to May Melee, do you think you will fly out to Hawaii?
Wait, say it again.
If you make it to May Melee, do you think you've booked your ticket to Hawaii because you picked up the momentum?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I really do think so. Um, I think we have a lot better understanding now. We've gained a. I guess we kind of we've learned a lot. I guess you could say from the teams we've played and scrimmed in the past week, and we've seen a lot of matches this past weekend. We didn't play too. We watched like always. People obviously everyone's always watching the other region two play. So I think it's gave us some perspective on what's viable, what's not. Um, and I think we can actually really play to our strengths, honestly, and really at any map.
I guess then, as the last question, if the two regions were to meet, who do you think has a better grasp on the meta at the moment?
Um, I think both regions generally know, honestly, what's good and what's bad. But I think it just comes down to like what these teams' strengths are and what they favor. Like if we show up to a match and a team that's not good at brawl is just gonna brawl mirror us in every map, and they're gonna get their heads kicked in, right? So they might as well just like play what they're strong at, and they'll try to counter or play some kind of dive or poke or something. So I think everyone really just plays to the strengths. I don't think either region really has any extra grasp on the meta, but I do think this region is significantly stronger and deeper. You know, I
Interesting.
think there's a few teams over there that are really good, but I think there's like maybe 6 teams here that are actually really good, honestly. That could honestly almost beat any of each other on any given day, especially considering map pool.
Who do you think
Map
is
pool
really
actually.
good there?
Um, no one really stands out if I'm being honest. The only people that stand out are the teams that are high up in the standings. Those are the
Right.
teams that are all those teams, all the teams that you would say are like in the top 6 or 7 or 8 right now. Those are all teams that are, I'd say, good teams. And given the map pool, like that's why I think the mid is actually going to be a lot of really good matches and close matches because you can pick your maps that are favored if you lose a map. So I think it's like it's almost insanely hard to 3 somebody, especially in the mid melee. And a lot of the Koth maps are like half of them are brawl, half of them are like the dive stuff. So I think it just comes down to like um, just like matchups, I guess you could say. There's
Sweet.
gonna be like a lot of like matchups going on, which would be interesting to see.
For sure. And we're looking forward to it. Thank you for the interview and good luck
Yeah,
this
thank you,
weekend.
thank you.